All right, so in this Leetcode challenge, we're going to tackle the longest palindromic substring. So the problem statement here is given a string of s even, return the longest palindromic substring in s. So the example I have here is given the string of BAB AD. You can see that we've palindrome of BAB here. We've a palindrome of ABA here. And obviously, there are these letters on their own are palindromes as well. So B, A, and D are also palindromes in their own right. So the longest palindrome in this case is BAB and ABA. So let's just copy this into, again, Zyboard. And let's just see how we're going to solve this problem. Okay, so we're going to iterate through our string, right? So we're going to have a start position of 0, and we're going to have an end position of start plus 1, say. Okay, so we're going to iterate, we're going to get the substring from start and n plus 1, right, in our array. And we're going to check if it's is palindrome, is pal. All right, so if it is palindrome of yes, what are we going to do? We're going to save. We'll save it if, so let's just create a return value, call this return value is equal to this. So if we'll save it return value if the length of return value is greater than the length of the string we're going to pass in. So we'll say s is greater than the current length of return value. Then we will save it. So we'll set return val is equal to s. S is we're going to pass in here, right? Otherwise we do nothing. Okay, so we could continue this, right? And we could iterate through the whole array, right? We can start, we'll have say 2 for loops, one for loop, we'll have a start position with our start position here, and the second will track our end position. We can do AB, can see if that's palindrome, it is, right? So it's B, then BA, right? So the end position will get incremented. So we'll have BA, it's not a palindrome, we continue on, BAB, so BAB is a palindrome. So if the length of the return value, which was initially equal to B, if the length of BAB is greater than B, the return value now is going to be BAB, right? So we could continue on that, but it's going to be kind of inefficient, right? So we're going to go through every combination, every letter. So when we come around the second time, when start is incremented to 1, we're going to start with start position A, we're going to check A, we're going to check AB, ABA, and all the way. So it's a bit inefficient. So we can kind of make this more efficient if we create a variable called, say, window length. And we'll set it equal to 1, right? And window length is going to, anytime we get a palindrome, right, we're going to see what the window length is of the palindrome, right? So in this case, if we got BAB, the window length is now going to be 3. So it just means we're not going to check for any substrings that are less than 3 after we find one that has 3, right? So let's see how this will work. So we're going to set the window length is equal to 1. We're going to update our end position to start plus window length. So again, we're going to start, let's just rub this out as well. Right. So again, we're going to start at B, start position here to here. And it is a palindrome. So what we're going to do, if the window length, so if end minus start is greater than window length, then we're going to set window length is equal to end minus start. So that'll update our window length for us. Then we're also going to save the return value is equal to s, right? So what this means is we come across our first value. So the start position is 0, the end position is start plus window length, so it's this guy here. It's a palindrome. N minus start is greater than window length, so it's not, it's the same, it's 1, right? 1 minus 0 is 1, so it's not, so we don't update window length. Window length says the same, the return value is equal to b, right? So return value is equal to b. So next then we increment our end, so AB, right? So that's not a palindrome, right? So nothing happens there. Next we do BAB, right? So BAB, it is a palindrome, right? It n minus start, so 3 minus 0 is greater than window length, current window length 1. So we're setting the window length now is going to be 3, right? 3. And return value is equal to BAB. So BAB. Okay, and we'll continue on. Again, we'll increment end. So we'll try BABA. It's not a palindrome. And we'll try BABAD. It's not a palindrome. Okay, so we're going to move on to, we're going to increment start and move into our next for loop. So start is going to be start position 1, right? So we're going to start here. Now this time, end is going to be equal to start, which is position 1, plus the window length, which is 3, right? So we're going to start here. Oops, start here, and we're going to compare. This is our first string. We're going to compare, see if it's check if it's a palindrome. So we're going to skip checking A, and we're going to skip checking AB. Because they're smaller than the window length, so we're trying to find the largest palindrome. So again, ABA, it is a if the n minus start, so it's start 1 plus window length 4. So 4 minus 1 is not greater than window length, so we don't need to change the window length, but we will set the return value is equal to S, right? So ABA, and then we move on. And we will check the next largest. So ABAD is not a palindrome, so we're finished with that, that loop. So again, we're going to increment start to 2, and now we'll do 2 to window length. So it's 2 plus 3 is 5, 2 down 5. So BAD is not a palindrome, and we've exhausted all values. Our end position now is going to be greater than the last position of the length of the string. So we're going to increment start again to 3. So start would be starting here, and because then because window length plus that is 6, so we've exhausted already. We've got to the end. We can't even check this. We can't even check this possible value, right? Because end has been set to start plus window length, so we've got over the end. So we won't be even checking anything there. Again, we'll increment start to position 4. So window length will be equal to position 4 plus window length is 3, so it's 7. So again, because the end position is over the end of the array, we won't check anything here. So at the end of this, we're going to have a return value of ABA. So let's see what this is going to look like in code. Okay, so we said we're going to set our start position is equal to 0. Well, we can just do a for loop. So let's just set our string of window length. Window length is equal to, into window length. String of return value is equal to blank. So now we're going to loop through. So let's do a for loop. So we're going to say int of start is equal to 0. Start is less than string.length, and start plus plus. And we're going to have another loop for our end position, and it's going to be equal to start plus window length, and end is going to be less than s dot length. It's going to be less than or equal to s dot length, and n plus plus. All right, so we are going to get our sequence from this. So we have a string of sequence of characters. String of sequence is equal to s dot substring of start down end. And we want to do a check then. So we want to go if need a function called is palindrome, pass it in our sequence. And if it's a palindrome, we're going to do our window length is equal to, so we're going to do n minus start is greater than, n minus start is greater than window length. Oops. Then we're going to set window length is equal to n minus start. Otherwise, we're going to set it equal to as it is. And we are going to set the return value is equal to the sequence. All right, I think that is good. So then we need a function called a boolean of is palindrome. We're going to pass in a string of s. So we need to iterate through. So in terms of determining if it's a palindrome or not. So let's try an example. So if we have a, b, b, a, right? If we start with a variable here, I says equal to 0, and we start with another variable here of j is equal to the length, right? So length minus 1, and we'll check if them two are equal, right? If they're equal, we'll continue on. So we're going to, if they're equal, we'll increment I and we'll decrement j. So they're going to be at this position, and we'll check that these two are equal, and then we'll increment I and decrement j. And we'll finish right once I is greater than j, then we'll finish, because we don't want to check in the other. We don't have use that computational time to check the other side. We can just let it go, and it will also be correct. So we need, let's do a int of I is equal to 0, int of j is equal to s dot length minus 1, and let's do a while I is less than s dot length and j is greater than 0, and we don't want them to cross. So if I is greater than j, so wait, while I is less than j, because if they're greater than, they'll have crossed. Oh yeah, then we want to go in here. So we want to go if s dot char at I is not equal to s dot char at of j. If they're not equal, we're just going to return false. If it's been satisfied, we're just going to return true. Okay, so in this case, and let's just print out the sequences that are valid as we go through them. Let's try this, see if there's any compilation errors. Missing sky. So you're matching there, you are matching there, you are matching there, you're matching there. Boolean is palindrome there. Missing return statement. Oh, return statement. Should have read there. Return val. Oh. Time exceeded. We need to increment I and we need to decrement j. All right, so in this case, we can see what sequences it is actually picking up. So we said we pick up B in the first one. It would iterate over the different sequences. So B, BA, BAD. So it picks up BAD, right? So then it's not going to consider any sequences less than a window length of 3. So let's try a different test case. And again, this is successful. So we got BB. Let's try just A. Successful. And let's just try A, 1, 2, BB, and AA. So we should get this one should be a successful palindrome. And we got it. Cool. So that's the longest palindromic substring Leetcode challenge. Thanks for watching.